Okay? All right, maybe we'll get a couple of them going. We'll try a couple of different discussions. Because it's all about the creativity process and how you can be creative. What this module is about is that creativity is a process. It's not some magical thing you're born with. It's a process. It's a process of what we do. So, we've talked about EI. We just had a little review. Why don't we review things? Anybody? It's not a rhetorical question. Why do we review things?
Yes.
Yeah, why?
Oh, that's how you want to read them.
That's the only way to learn. It is absolutely the only way to learn. There is no magic in learning. It's a matter of experience and working with the topic. So, as I said last time, a lot of people come into class and they want to change results, and they think if they learn some new behaviors, it's going to change things. And it doesn't happen. What has to change? Your mindset. Excellent. And what we talk about mindset is you have to have a different way of looking at things. You have to approach it differently. And that involves your own emotional intelligence. It's self-awareness. Where do I think? How do I think? And then self-management. What am I going to do? So, let's jump into some of the material. We're going to cut through it quickly and efficiently and effectively. So, if you jump to page 1. The way to get good ideas is to get lots of ideas and throw the bad ones away. Linus Pauling, Nobel Prize. What does that mean? Yeah, don't be afraid to be wrong. Part of the creative process is just being creative and letting it go. It means that you have to hold your tongue and say, oh, that's not a good idea. You have to there is a part of creativity where you have to remove judgment. And that's hard to do, because we generally have opinions about everything. And then what you do is after you come up with the content. So I'm struggling with this. I'm working with Felice Willett. She ran Day Runner. Does anybody old enough to remember Day Runner? The notebook, Day Runner. Okay, so Felice Willett and I met when she was in a Money Magazine article. I found out about her and what she was doing with Day Runner. So they built this company that went up to $250 million, and then it just crashed because they brought in management that killed it. And so what we're doing is she and I are writing the story of Day Runner. And so we're working on it together, and she's constantly going, oh, should I write this? No, just write everything. Just put it in there. The first book I wrote the first draft was like close to 500 pages, 400 and something pages. When I finished the book for publishing, it was 99 pages. So we're throwing away 3/4 of the content, and we're going to do the same thing with this. And this is one of the ways writers write. Some writers don't write that way. They write every sentence perfectly. It's different styles for what their discipline is or what they're working on. Now, in management, we also have ways of being creative and getting creative ideas. And as leaders within your organization, your idea is to create the environment to come up with creative ideas. And it means you're going to have to deal with people's emotional intelligence, or lack thereof. You're going to have to help them become self-aware, help them self-manage, and help them participate. This is what you do as a manager/leader. And as we talked about before, there's a yin-yang relationship. What's the difference between management and leadership? Management is being effective and efficient with the known. And leadership is guiding people to the unknown. So, is creativity more of a management issue or a leadership issue? Well, it's both. It's this yin-yang relationship between the two of them. During the creative process, you're going to be a leader. After you get all the creative ideas, then you're going to be the manager and you're going to look for the ones that you, A, have the resources to implement, and B, have the support to implement. And then the third thing is, if you've got those things, what's the one that you can have a good win with? Which one is most important, most critical now? So first of all, do you have the resources to do it? An idea, it doesn't matter how great the idea is, if you don't have the resources for it, it's not getting done. The other thing is you need the support of everyone around you. And then, when you've got the support, there may only be one or two ideas, and you pick the one that'll have the greatest impact, the one that's most critical, or the one that'll make the biggest positive change for your organization. CEOs, if they're lucky, get to implement one major change in their entire career. And so they pick that change, and all the other changes are related to that major concept and change. We talked about Delta Airlines last time. Delta Airlines, he focused on positive relationships. That was the focus of Richard Anderson at Delta Airlines. Positive relationships with the employees, positive relationships with the customers, positive relationships with everybody they dealt with. And that was their guiding mantra, and that was the leadership portion. The management portion was, how do you implement that? How do you create a positive relationship on an airline that makes people safer with something that they're totally bored with and don't pay attention to? Well, you start adding fun to their airline video. And so that's where you had the fun airline videos where it was kind of crazy, and Delta was the first one that came out. It was all based on this idea, how do we make better relationships to connect with people? What changes do we need to make? So leadership is the idea and the vision, management is the implementation and the execution of it. Cool. In the module, we're going to learn about exploring discipline.